Hello and welcome. We have authored a video that does a great job of breaking down the topic of public liability insurance. In this video, we provide a clear and concise explanation of what public liability insurance is, how it works, and why it's important for businesses to have. The video also covers some common scenarios where public liability insurance can come into play, such as accidents or injuries that occur on a business's premises or as a result of their activities. This video is a great resource for anyone who wants to learn more about public liability insurance, whether they're a business owner themselves or just interested in understanding the basics. This is Insurance World. Let's begin. What is public liability insurance? Public liability insurance is a type of insurance policy that provides protection to businesses and individuals from financial loss in case they are found legally responsible for causing injury or damage to a third party or their property. This can include injuries sustained by a member of the public on your premises or damage caused to someone else's property as a result of your business activities. Public liability insurance can cover the costs of legal fees, compensation, and other expenses that arise from such incidents. It can be especially important for businesses that interact with the public, such as retail stores, restaurants, utility service providers such as water supply companies, electricity supply companies, public transport companies, construction companies, and many more. It's worth noting that public liability insurance is not a legal requirement in most countries, but it is mandatory to abide by court rulings when a court of law awards damages in such cases involving the public. With this in mind, it is therefore highly recommended as a form of protection for businesses and individuals who may face liability claims. Public liability insurance covers the costs of defending businesses in a lawsuit and payments of damages to the aggrieved third party. Incidences that may give rise to a claim under public liability includes 1. Bodily injury, where any activity of the insured results in injury of a member of the public. Public liability insurance will, on behalf of the insured, pay court awards to the injured third parties for liability arising from incidences where there are injuries, fatal or otherwise on. The coverage usually includes injuries while on the insured premises, i.e. slip and fall due to wet floor, or being hit by an object and not secured. Injuries while outside the insured property, like walkways and parking lots, and injuries that are caused due to the insured's activities away from the premises, i.e. dangerous driving on the road or being hit by falling tree from the insured compound, being injured by the insured's pet, or even being drowned by water from the insured's burst tank. 2. Property damage. The coverage includes protection of the insured party against liabilities arising from damage to third-party property as a result of the insured's actions or activities, including negligence, commissions or omissions. 3. Legal expenses. Public liability policy will also pay for the cost of hiring and paying lawyers to represent the insured in any lawsuits brought by a customer or a member of the public, third parties. Being a liability policy, all claims must emanate from third parties in the form of demand letters to the client, which will then be defended in courts or settled out of court as the lawyers representing the insured and the third parties may agree. This is primarily because the third parties have to prove that negligence on the part of the insured resulted in the said injury, loss, or damage. Purchasing public liability insurance policy. To purchase a public liability insurance policy, follow these general steps. Determine your needs. Before purchasing a policy, you should assess the risks associated with your business or operations. Consider the potential for injury or property damage to third parties and the potential costs of legal claims. Based on this assessment, you can determine the coverage limits and other features you need in a policy. Research insurance providers. Research different insurance providers to find a policy that meets your specific needs. Consider factors such as reputation, coverage options, policy limits, deductibles, and cost. Obtain quotes. Request quotes from different insurance providers to compare prices and coverage options. Provide accurate and detailed information about your business or operations to ensure that you receive accurate quotes. Review policy details. Once you have received quotes, review the policy details carefully. Look for any exclusions, limitations, or special conditions that may affect your coverage. Purchase the policy. After reviewing the policy details and choosing a provider, purchase the policy that best meets your needs. Pay attention to the payment terms and make sure you understand the coverage provided. Renew your policy. Public liability insurance policies typically need to be renewed annually. Review your coverage needs and adjust your policy as necessary. It is important to work with a reputable insurance provider and to carefully review the policy details to ensure that you have adequate coverage. How public liability insurance works. Here's how it typically works. Policy purchase. The business or individual purchases a public liability insurance policy from an insurance company, which covers them against claims of bodily injury or property damage caused to third parties. Coverage. The policy outlines the coverage limits, deductibles, exclusions, and other details of the insurance. The policyholder is covered for the damages and legal costs associated with a third-party claim up to the policy limit. Claim. If a third party suffers an injury or property damage that they believe is the policyholder's fault, they may make a claim against the policy. The policyholder should report the claim to their insurance company immediately. Investigation. The insurance company will investigate the claim to determine if it is covered by the policy. They may interview witnesses, inspect the site of the incident, and gather other evidence. Settlement. If the claim is valid, the insurance company will pay the damages or settlement to the injured party up to the policy limit. If the claim is not valid, the insurance company will defend the policyholder in court if necessary. Renewal. The policy is typically renewed annually, and the policyholder may need to adjust their coverage limits or exclusions to reflect changes in their business operations. Public liability insurance can provide peace of mind and financial protection for businesses or individuals who may be at risk of causing injury or damage to third parties. It is important to choose a policy that adequately covers the policyholder's specific needs and to report any claims promptly to the insurer. Public liability insurance claims procedures. Public liability insurance works by providing financial protection to businesses or individuals who may be held responsible for causing injury to a member of the public, normally referred to as third parties, or damage to third-party properties. When any of the circumstances discussed above arises giving rise to injury or damage, the aggrieved party, having determined that the insured is liable for the injury or damage, will make a demand for compensation for the injury or damage. When this demand is received, preferably in writing, the insured will forward the demand to the insurance company for them to appoint an advocate to contact the third party or their lawyer to begin the negotiations. The case may or may not proceed to court. Most property damage cases can be settled without involving the courts as long as the aggrieved party quantifies his claim and the defendant, through the insurance company, agrees to pay the amount of compensation claimed. What follows thereafter is the settlement by the insurance company in discharge of liability by the claimant, who is the third party. In cases where there are disputes in property claims and in most injury cases, the matter is taken to court for determination. The third party will present their case and prove the insured's liability beyond reasonable doubt, after which the presiding judge will make a ruling, which is binding to both parties. The matter will be settled as per the court's directive, assuming there is no appeal filed. Throughout this video, we have seen consistency in handling public liability claims. That is, there must be an aggrieved third party or a member of the public, and the third party must have suffered injuries or loss of or damage to property. The said injury, loss, or damage must be as a result of the insured's actions or omissions. There must be someone held liable for the injury, damage, or loss. Who can purchase public liability policies? Public liability policies are designed to be purchased by institutions such as businesses, companies, government entities, etc., to protect their operations and activities against unintended third-party injuries and third-party property damages. Liability covers for individuals. As an individual, there still exist risks of injuring third parties or causing damage to their properties. The third party can still sue individuals for compensation. Even though there is a gray area in providing a blanket public liability insurance for individuals, insurance companies have provided extensions of liability coverage embedded within many insurance policies offered for individuals. Examples: 1. Under motor insurance, the TPO insurance cover is specifically designed to take care of liabilities arising from third-party injuries and/or damage to the third-party properties. 2. Domestic package or homeowners insurance policies have a liability section christened Owners or Occupiers Liability section, which very much operates like the normal public liability policies sold to businesses. The third example is golfers' policies also have a liability section which covers the insured as an individual. All in all, public liability insurance can be extended as part of any property or personal insurance cover being purchased by an individual to protect themselves against the liability risks that may be associated with obtaining, keeping, and using the property, including crops, livestock, and pet insurance. Importance of having a public liability insurance. Having public liability insurance is important for several reasons, below and some of them. 1. Protection against legal claims. Public liability insurance protects businesses or individuals from the financial consequences of legal claims made against them by third parties. If a customer or member of the public is injured or their property is damaged due to the policyholder's negligence, the policy will cover the legal fees, compensation, and other costs associated with the claim. 2. Peace of mind. Public liability insurance provides peace of mind, knowing that if something goes wrong, the policyholder will be financially protected. This can help to reduce stress and anxiety associated with running a business or performing services in public areas. 3. Compliance with legal requirements. Some businesses or organizations may be legally required to have public liability insurance, depending on their industry or location. Failure to comply with these requirements can result in fines or legal action. 4. Professional image. Having public liability insurance can demonstrate to customers and clients that the policyholder takes their responsibility seriously and is committed to protecting their interests. 5. Business continuity. In the event of a claim, public liability insurance can provide financial protection that allows the business or individual to continue operating without significant disruption. Overall, having public liability insurance is an important component of risk management for businesses or individuals that engage with the public. It can provide financial protection and peace of mind, and help ensure compliance with legal requirements. The end. Our next one will be on product liability insurance, a close cousin of public liability policy. See you then.